Sunflower Story Hour, Episode 2, Workaround, written by Edison Michael Hubbard. After his conversation with the ghost, the detective had many options as to interrogations. He wandered back to the party to scope them out and see exactly what he could do, as well as how exactly he could solve this mystery.
Hello, I'm back. If I may, speak to the maid, please.
Right here. What do you need from me, detective?
Follow me. I need to ask you some questions.
If you say so.
The detective left with the maid to a small room down the hall.
Tell me what you know.
I don't know much. I was busy comforting Miss Beatrice, so I didn't see much. All I remember is the sheriff knocking on the door, rudely interrupting me trying to help. Then Earl, the butler, finding Mr. M's body.
You don't know anything else?
I know he had a lot of enemies, so isn't that surprising? A lot of people like that die here for way less. I'm surprised it lasted this long, but I'm still getting paid.
As the maid, I assume you know some of what happens around this household?
Ha! Barely. I clean, then I go back to my room when I'm done. I'm here, don't get me wrong, but I'm barely here. Monotonous work is for the few. The many go insane over it all.
You don't care about your job?
I care about getting it right and getting it done. Anything more I do is out of my own kindness, which I would say is more than needed.
My apologies, miss. I assume you do a lot of things around here then.
I already said it before, I do what I need to do. I don't like repeating myself.
I think I have the information that I need.
The detective and the maid returned to the common room where everyone still was, at this point either still recovering from the death or chatting amongst themselves, mostly about the murder or random gossip.
If I may, speak to the butler now.
Oh, yes.
The detective and the butler made their way to the same small room.
I assume you know most, if not all, of the things that happen around here?
I usually oversee everything in this house, but it seems I made an oversight tonight.
I would hate to accuse you of anything. However, it seems that it is wildly coincidental that this one time you mess up.
I'm more ashamed than you are suspicious of me. By the time you got here, your job already should have been done. In a way, I'm sorry for wasting your time with this.
Trust me, my job isn't as easy as you think. However, you didn't see the suspect, even though I assume you do know everyone.
Yes, I do.
Who do you think did it?
Nobody had a reason to kill him. There's no way anyone would have actually gone through with it, even if they did have one. Personally, I was taking care of the guests the entire time, so I was far too busy to do that. I know these people like the back of my hand, but it seems I've been led astray. Someone did it. For that, I'm sorry as well.
Despite his original suspicions, the detective started to believe him, or at least the fact that he was innocent.
Well, you've made your case.
The detective left for the bathroom as he felt the need to organize his notes.
Well, how did you, Parker? Any closer to finding my coat?
Leave me be, please. I need to rest for a moment.
Well, you'd better find them soon, or else.
Or else what?
They could make me escape, or worse, get some of my money.
Sure. Okay, I'm gonna go now.
The detective returned where he eyed his next interrogation.
May I now see the groundskeeper?
Close by, Beatrice noticed Stella, the detective's assistant, and the vase she was holding.
What are you doing, little one?
Currently, I'm holding on to everyone's keys with this vase to make sure they don't get out.
Oh, really?
The detective thankfully overheard this conversation.
How about you come with me for this one, Stella?
Oh, okay.
Stella walked over and joined the detective.
Where's the groundskeeper?
Right here.
The groundskeeper was apparently short or sneaky enough to stand next to the detective and not be seen.
Oh, you scared me. Well, follow me back to the room then.
The detective, Stella, and the groundskeeper headed to the interrogation room.
I don't think I've gotten your name. Mind telling me?
Drew.
Oh, what a normal name.
Yup, that's why my mom named me that. Normalcy.
Right. So, do you mind explaining where you were during the time of the murder?
Oh, I was worried it was going to come to this.
Come to what?
I think he's guilty.
No, the only thing I'm guilty of is an affair.
Do you mind elaborating on that?
I'm sorry, but for my own sake and reputation, I cannot risk that.
Well, if you don't tell us, I'm gonna assume that you're guilty of murder, and then you'll be our top suspect. You don't want that, do you?
Please, detective. I know I'm not a perfect man, but I would never murder anything. besides tumbleweeds.
Then you must tell us what happened.
If I must, I was painting a picture of a tumbleweed.
Pardon me, but that doesn't sound too bad.
Not that bad. I am a tumbleweeder. My father was a tumbleweeder. My father's father was a tumbleweeder. My mother's father was a tumbleweeder. My father's father's mother's father was a tumbleweeder.
I would hate to interrupt you, but it seems you skipped a generation.
Oh, that generation. We don't talk about that generation. They're a disappointment. Like me.
Stella and the detective huddled up while the groundskeeper cried.
I think he's innocent, if not a bit insane.
I think he knows something. At least I hope he knows more. We're not getting much.
Stella and the detective faced the groundskeeper once again.
I get that this is tough for you, but do you know anything else? If nobody saw you, that isn't an alibi.
I was out there the whole day taking care of tumbleweeds. Anybody can see that. I only pray that they didn't see me taking in a tumbleweed to paint that tumbleweed on it.
You painted a tumbleweed on a tumbleweed.
I painted a tumbleweed on a tumbleweed on a tumbleweed on a tumbleweed. They're infinite, you know. They last and collapse on themselves for infinity. That's the beautiful yet terrifying nature of them, detective. You never know what they could do next.
I think you're free for now. Please leave.
The groundskeeper left the room with tears in his eyes. The detective maintained his composure until the suspect was far enough.
Well, that's 3 people, all with varied alibis. What do you think, Stella?
This vase is getting heavy. Oh, I think he sounds pretty innocent. Don't know about the other 2.
They had decently compelling alibis, though I do need to ask someone else about one of them. But that can wait. I think other interview is in order. We should try to get as many of these done as quickly as possible.
Okay. Are you sure you don't want a break?
I'm fine. I at least have one more in me for right now.
Stella and the detective returned to the guests. The detective looked closely to see who could be a good person to interrogate next. His eye caught the chef, who was talking with the rest of the staff. The detective walked up to him and tapped him on the shoulder.
Mind coming with me for a second, Chef?
Sure.
No need for nerves. Only a few questions and we can be on our way.
Yes, of course.
The trio returned to the questioning room and sat down.
Let's cut to the chase. What's your alibi?
I was in the kitchen.
Can anyone corroborate that alibi?
I assume someone heard me.
Take me through the moment before the murder happened.
I was making my newest masterpiece when I heard the commotion.
Masterpiece?
My new masterful, exquisite, elegant, spectacular dish.
Sorry, I'm not too familiar with cooking. Which dish would this be?
Oh, of course, I was making shrimp Alfredo with strawberry cheesecake.
Took a second to remember that. How long do these dishes usually take?
Together, around 80 minutes, I would say.
Would you say that the mayor enjoys your dishes?
He never says it, but I know he does. I can tell.
Well, I've heard enough. If you will, please exit. We have to investigate further.
Stella and the detective watched the chef nervously exit before beginning to talk.
Well, he's a definite suspect. Out of everyone, he's the only one who didn't have an alibi that can be seen or have any real evidence. Beyond that, he seemingly forgot his own meal. We should check the kitchen to see if he actually cooked anything. Also check if there's anything that could poison someone in there. As for the rest of them, we should corroborate the maid's alibi. Check to see if anyone else could have seen the butler and the groundskeeper's alibi, while also going through everyone else.
That's a lot. Do you think we'll have time?
We have all the time in the world, or at least a lot of it.
Fair enough. Are you doing all right?
Just a bit tired. I'll simply go to the bathroom.
Didn't you...
The detective quickly left for the bathroom. He splashed water on his face before closing the toilet lid and taking a seat. Thankfully, the place had more than one bathroom, so he didn't have to witness a dead body once more.
You've done this 1,000 times. Get a grip, detective.
I'm getting real tired of you sitting there.
I'm tired of you being here, especially since you don't know anything.
I was drunk and disoriented, and too busy becoming a ghost to notice anything. Assuming, oh wait, you can't. I'm dead.
You didn't look around once you realized what was going on?
I'm still too busy wondering what's going on. As far as I know, this is a weird night.
This isn't. And you're lucky I'm doing any work, or else your murder would stay unsolved and remain unsolved for all of history, while your killer walks away without any consequences.
Well, excuse me for wanting my murder solved. Anyone could have killed me. You act like I actually cared about these people, or they actually cared about me.
Now you're lucky this is my job, or else I would have let the murderer get away with all this attitude you're giving me.
If it's your job, pull yourself up by the bootstraps and get back to work.
Leave me alone.
Detective, are you okay?
The mayor turned into a terrifying, large, ghastly figure and began to scream.
Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up!
The detective quickly got up onto his feet. Then he ran to the door, fidgeted with the lock to try and get it open. After taking a second, he opened the door and fell onto the ground.
Detective!
The detective turned around to see that the ghost was gone.
Detective, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Sorry.
What happened in there?
The detective looked back.
Nothing.
Stella looked back.
Come on, let's go.
Stella quickly followed the detective while looking back for a brief period. The two then finally reached the end of the hallway and walked past all of the party to get to the kitchen.
Let's see if the chef's telling the truth.
Stella looked around frantically, realizing she forgot something.
Detective?
Yes, Stella?
I forgot the vase.
Do you remember where it is?
No.
The detective remembered the hallway, which he did not want to go back to.
Well, if you don't know where it is, then I assume nobody could find it.
The two entered the dark kitchen. Without the daytime's natural light, Stella lit a few lanterns to help them out.
Check around here. I'm gonna make sure of something.
The detective went outside of a back door in the kitchen and looked for the groundskeeper's shed. He found it pretty quickly, mainly because the shed had a groundskeeper's house in all caps on a sign.
That should do it.
The detective went for the handles on the door. It was locked. He tried to look inside, but he saw nothing. He looked around for a key, checking in all the obvious spots. No dice. The detective scratched his head in confusion.
Even without the vase, there should be something here.
To this, a voice called.
2 paces left, 3 paces down.
The detective followed the directions which led him to a random spot, so he dug and quickly found the keys, and then called out.
Thank you!
But no one responded. He took the keys and unlocked the door. He stepped inside. Then he saw it. A tumbleweed, which had a painting of a tumbleweed on it.
Well, would you look at that?
However, after looking at it for a moment, the detective noticed something peculiar. He looked into the tumbleweed. Then he looked into the tumbleweed past that. Then he looked into the tumbleweed past that. Then he looked into...
I might need a rest.
Before he left, the detective took the painting and tested it. The paint was still wet, so the detective left satisfied. He locked up the shed, reburied the key before joining Stella in the kitchen.
Find anything?
No, Detective.
Really? Nothing? No food stains, no ingredients loose?
No, this kitchen is remarkably pristine. It's like nobody's used it at all.
I would assume it to be clean, but not this clean. It does look like nobody's ever used it. Have you looked in the freezer or anywhere in the pantry?
No, but I assume there's at least food, right?
The detective inched closer to the freezer, slowly opening it before finding what's inside. A bunch of packaged food.
Pretty normal.
The detective wasn't satisfied. He opened the package, which revealed shrimp Alfredo and strawberry cheesecake already made.
Why would he put it in the freezer?
Look at the side.
Hubbard Foods? It's pre-packaged.
Exactly.
Why would he do it?
Seems like we have a fake chef, which he probably did to get a job here.
Of course. This place probably pays well.
I doubt that, but a job's a job. He might have done it for simply some money. With that, we have one heck of a suspect. I think we should make an arrest.
Can we? Is faking a skill for a job illegal?
Doesn't matter. Right now, he's suspect number 1. That might give us a cause to arrest him.
The two quickly exited the kitchen and went for the chef, who was still talking with the rest of the staff. They took his hands and cuffed them.
Sir, you are being detained. Not only for being the main suspect in this murder, but for faking being a chef.
What?
Pre-packaged meals!
Can't someone take a break from cooking once in a while? I was still going to heat them up.
Then why is your kitchen so pristine? It looks like it's never been in use.
I'm a good cleaner.
Nobody believed him.
Even if you've already committed a crime, we still haven't figured out for sure who's the murderer. I feel confident so far clearing the butler, but the groundskeeper and the maid I need a few more details on. But for right now, if you all mind keeping track of this gentleman, I think I'll have a look around the household a bit.
Everyone murmured to themselves while the detective and Stella left. Earl and Drew made sure the chef was secure and wouldn't go anywhere anytime soon.
Aren't you worried about what they're saying? If they're saying anything about you?
My job isn't to make them happy, Stella.
The two walked past the hallway again and went up to where the stairs were.
Let's split up. Why don't you check down that way, and I'll check down this way.
The detective pointed Stella toward the living room while he headed to the bedroom.
If you wanted to take a nap, you could have just said so.
Maybe. I haven't decided yet.
Maybe you should take one. Might do you some good.
Stella walked away. The detective walked up the stairs and then tried to find an unused bedroom. He ended up finding one near the end of the hall. He looked at it.
Maybe.
Should the detective take a rest to regain his energy and potentially sanity, or should he keep trudging on for the sake of our investigation? Place your vote through our website or Instagram at Sunflower Story Hour. We will see you very soon for another episode. Thank you and good night.